In today's video, we're going to discuss what the statute of limitations is on a credit card debt, why it's so important, and some of the biggest misunderstandings I hear from clients when it comes to dealing with the statute of limitations as a defense to a credit card collection action. My name is John Skiba, and I'm a consumer protection attorney in the state of Arizona. And if this is your first time here on my YouTube channel, please go ahead and click subscribe, and that way you'll get notified as soon as I put out new content relating to bankruptcy, debt collection lawsuits, and how to deal with serious debt problems. Let's talk about the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations is the amount of time that your creditors have to sue you if you stop making a payment. For instance, let's say that you have an American Express card and you stop making a payment on it. Eventually, they're likely going to sue you. The reason why they want to sue you is because they want to get a judgment against you so they can garnish your wages or so they can levy your bank accounts. It's important to note that most unsecured creditors, like credit cards, they can't do a whole lot to you unless they actually sue you and get that judgment. They can be annoying, they can damage your credit score, but they usually can't take anything from you unless they take that step. So the statute of limitations gives them a certain period of time that they have to file their lawsuit. And if they don't file their lawsuit within that certain period of time, they're barred forever from bringing it. So it's a very powerful defense if you get sued by one of your debt collectors and it turns out that the statute of limitations has expired, then that lawsuit can be dismissed pretty quickly. Not only that, but you may have an FDCPA claim, a Fair Debt Collection Practices Act claim against them for suing you on a debt that they can't pursue. So let's talk about the statute of limitations, what it is, and how long you have. Now, the tough part about this is that it's different in every single state. Most statute of limitations on credit card debts range from 3 years on the short side up to 6, 7, and even 10 years in some states that they have to file suit against you. Not only that, if you're not careful, you may reset the time if you make certain payments or if you acknowledge the debt in writing. The important thing to note is when the statute of limitations starts to accrue or when it starts to run. So with most states, that's going to happen when the creditor could have sued you. So again, let's take my example of American Express. You have an account with them and you stop paying on them. Most credit card terms and conditions, the agreement that you entered into, states that you will be in default if you don't make a payment within 30 days after it's due. And so that's when the statute of limitations in most jurisdictions starts to accrue. That's when it starts, is when you miss that very first payment. Now, if you bring it current the next month later, then usually that resets the statute and it wouldn't start again until you missed a payment. But let's say you missed a payment and then you just stopped paying on it completely. You would look back to that first time when the payment was due, that you're 30 days late, you didn't make the payment. That's day one for whatever the statute of limitations period is for your particular state. And again, you're going to have to research this because when it comes to the statute of limitations, not only is it different in each state, it's different for different types of legal claims. So like in Arizona where I live, there's a specific statute of limitations for credit card debt. In Arizona, it's 6 years. So they have from 6 years from the time that they file or from the time that you miss that first payment, they have 6 years to file the lawsuit. And all they have to do is file the complaint and the summons with the court. Another big misunderstanding that I hear quite often is someone who's already being sued by a debt collector. The lawsuit goes on forever, as they tend to do. Civil lawsuits can go on a year or even more. And sometimes people will want to say, hey, this lawsuit's been going on so long, it has to be outside the statute of limitations at this point. At that point, it doesn't matter. If they filed the lawsuit, that very first day that they filed the lawsuit, if that was done within the time period in your state, so for example, in Arizona, if that was done within that 6-year window that they have to file it, statute of limitations is no longer a defense. Even if that lawsuit goes on for 2 years, 3 years, or however long it goes on, it's no longer a defense. But if you calculate it out and it has been more than the period that's allowed in your state, in Arizona, if it's been more than 6 years and they filed the lawsuit, you would then file a motion to dismiss that claim because they're no longer legally allowed to try to collect on it. Now, it's important to know this. I should make a quick correction there. They're no longer legally allowed to file suit on it, but they can ask you to voluntarily pay it. You don't have to. You can say no, and there's nothing they can do about it, but they can ask you to voluntarily pay it. And so you still may get letters in the mail even though you're not being sued by them, they may call you, they may send you letters asking for voluntary payment, but they can't force payment and they can't garnish your wages or levy your bank accounts because they haven't filed the suit within that applicable statute of limitations period. So hopefully that clears up some confusion. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I do check those things throughout the day, and I'm happy to respond to them. I'll also ask you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We put up new content here on a regular basis dealing with how to solve serious debt problems through bankruptcy, debt collection lawsuits, whatever it is that you're dealing with. We put a lot of content up. Please go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching today.